Hello, my friends. Hello. You should now be able to hear me, and you should also be able to see some beautiful artwork courtesy of Scotch. I really hope you can. Yes. I am the master of the internet. Yes. No internet is too powerful for me. Yes. Aha! Finally, hello, and welcome to the live stream. You will have noticed things look a little different around here. That is because my internet is still not good enough to stream video, but it can stream audio. So I have rotated an MP3 PDF into your computer device, and now my voice is beaming across the airwaves of satellites and planets and galaxies and straight now into your ears, and you have the beautiful art of Scotch drawers to look at, until such time as I can get actual internet that looks good. In the meantime, you have my voice and also beautiful artwork and some very chill vibes from the music. So, hello. Oh my word, this is going to be a lot of fun because, as usual, the chat for me is on an enormous delay. So I am broadcasting to you from the future, from about 2 minutes in the future. So yes, I have an engineer coming on Friday to take a look at the flat, who will hopefully then be able to come up with some kind of proposal for installing internet that is good and that works. In the meantime, we are just going to have to pretend you're listening to the radio. Radio people. What was that? What's that song by Zap? Stereophonic, groovalistic, realistic, superrealistic, whatever's right for you. You can find it all on your radio. Yes, and Nina Rich is in the chat. Oh my word, brilliant. So what I can do is I can show you comments. I can show you the video itself that I made that we're going to talk about, and we can also I can show you some fan art as well. We've got some wonderful fan art to look at, but no, I still do have coal-powered Wi-Fi. It's still real bad, so I can't do video. I can't even turn my webcam on. I've unplugged it. I'm not wearing any makeup. I haven't set up my background. I'm just sitting here, just generally vibing in an MP3 format. So all we need is Radio Gaga and some good internet. But hey, if it's your first time watching or indeed listening to the stream, then welcome along. It's wonderful to have you here. Double extra special welcome if it is your first time. We like to keep the chat a very cool place. We like to keep it chill. We like to have good vibes and positive things. We also like to start by lighting a candle, which you will not be able to see, but I will describe it to you and you will be able to hear me light it. Tonight's scented candle is winter berries, spearmint leaves, woodland moss, and pine. It does not smell like any of those things, but it does smell quite nice. So here we go. Listen out for the lighter. There we go. There's a beautiful soft glow in here now. The candle is, I don't know if you can hear that, just gently spitting hot wax all over my hand in a very relaxed and chill way. I have my purple and my blue lights are all set up, and I have my neon lights and everything. So if you can just picture something very chill, very much like the beautiful artwork that you are currently looking at, courtesy of Scotch Drawers on Twitter, who, by the way, I obviously paid and commissioned because I like to pay people who help me make the show. Speaking of money, thank you very much to Joe4422, who has just reminded me that if there are any super chats over the course of the evening, then I will do my best to shout them out. If you super chat me a question, then I will try to answer it. If that is your intention, I advise you, thank you Amy Scott for that super chat, I advise you to keep your questions nice and simple. So, I'm just going to take a drink here of my blackcurrant juice. Beautiful. Light your candles now if you have candles. Please do so responsibly and do not burn down your house. Why don't we start? We are going to look at some beautiful art tonight because there is some gorgeous art of the last video. Why don't we start by appreciating the fantastic job that Scutch has done? So I came to Scutch and I said, I'd love to do a stream. I'm going to be doing audio-only streams for a while because of internet. So why don't you could you knock me up? All my characters sitting around a microphone as if we're all in the studio together. And he's just done a fantastic job. I love it. It's beautiful. Like the detail of Ian Drivel's shirt having the Muppets on it, I really like that one. I love the arsonist. Arsonist looking very, very cool. It's really nice. It's just really gorgeous. I like the detail of the what am I talking about? The ashtray. I forgot what the word for ashtray was. It's pretty excellent. I like it. I asked Scutch to go for like a big head, almost like chibi thing, which was quite nice, and he's really delivered on that. But what we like to do on these streams is we like to go over the last video that I made and talk a little bit about how it was made and what people's reactions to it were and all the rest of it. So I should now stand by for hold on to your internet, grab your modem, lash it down to the floor, and put on your life jackets because I'm about to try and show you something. Here we go. Just Jesus. Oh my God, yes, I can show it to you. Yes. So this is the last video that I made. It was called Who's Afraid of the Experts, and it had Adam Conover in it, which was lovely. It was really nice of Adam to my window's just freaking out there. It was really nice of Adam to agree to come on the show. Really kind of him. We'll talk a little bit more about him later. But this is the video that I made. And long-time viewers of the show will know that I like to... Well, I have sort of 3 criteria for when I make a video. And if I fulfill all those 3 criteria, then I am happy with it, and I try and not beat myself up about it. And the 3 criteria are: have I made it from curiosity, not ambition? Yes, I think I have in this case. And have I made it from a place of compassion, both for myself and others? Yes, I think I have. And what's the third one again? What's my mantra? I've forgotten my mantra. What is it? Curiosity and ambition, compassion. Oh no, yeah. Is it my unique creative voice? Yes, I think it is. I don't think anyone else has done or could do a video quite like this one. Especially not the interview format spliced in with the theatrical educational presentation. I think is something that I tried. If you've seen my video on sex work, then you'll be familiar with that. I did a similar thing with Riley Reyes in a magician aesthetic. Thank you very much, Devon Golder, for that super chat. That's very, very kind of you. Socialism, not parasocialism. Was there a reason for the interview parts being in black and white, says HH? So I'm guessing you're referring to... internet's going to struggle, but there it is. So yes, these bits were in black and white. I mean, mainly because that was... I ballsed up the lighting. So on the bits where I'm talking... I tried to focus mainly on Adam for this reason, but so this bit, I ballsed up the lighting, so in color, these sections look very, very bad, and also there's I don't know what I did wrong with the lighting, but it looks like I'm wearing lipstick, which I'm not. So basically, I lit this very, very badly, and if you have bad lighting, putting in black and white sometimes helps. So I put it in black and white partly so I could stand to look at it, and then I realized it would help sort of conceptually separate it from the rest of the video, and it's kind of worked in a nice way. It also allowed me to put certain effects on it. So when you see footage in the crystal ball, I applied various filters and so on to it to make it look the way it does, and it was a lot easier to do that in black and white. It has a glow effect on it, and it's got soft lighting and certain blending things. So yeah. Oh, hey, Casey's in the chat. Casey, if it won't absolutely destroy my internet, then I will try and give you the sacred power of moderation. Stand by and I give you the power! Yeah, there you go. I've made you a moderator. Brilliant. I'm just going to mute my phone because people are texting me. Yeah, so thank you very much to Bjorn Lammers for that super chat as well. So yeah, that was one of the reasons that the interview segments were in black and white. Is it disguised my lighting failure and also made it easier to put cool effects over everything, which was really, really nice. But yeah, so my criteria for the show are: is it curiosity, not ambition? Is it made from a place of compassion? And is it my unique creative voice? And it ticks all 3 boxes, so I'm pretty happy with it, I think. In terms of views, what are we? Okay, 350,000. Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at. Pretty happy with that. Usually, if it gets over 120,000, then I'm always happy with it. So I know at that point I just say, well, I'll leave it. Like whatever it gets over that is just like a bonus, really. So that's nice. Nevertheless, I do always have some notes to self, which was I always have some things that I would have liked to do better. Like people give me feedback and so on. So there are a lot of comments. Like some people have very strong opinions about Adam Conover, like real strong opinions about Adam. And a lot of it was just like abuse. He was not kidding when he said in the interview that 70% of the stuff that he gets is just abuse, which is a real shame because he's a perfectly lovely and professional guy, and I very much enjoyed having him come on. He was he was lovely. I just DM'd him and said, "Do you want to come on?" He was enthusiastic. He was good. Like he gave up his time, and yeah, there were a lot of comments. I was sad to see a lot of comments just insulting Adam, and I was like, well, that's not really what Philosophy Tube's about. We don't like to just insult people and to just like be mean to them. Thank you, Elliot Barker, for that super chat. That's really kind of you. Thank you, Devin Golder, for that super chat as well. Could you see through the blindfold? Devin asks. No, not really. I mean, I could see light and shade, but I just memorized the script. I always memorize the scripts. It just helps with the delivery. It makes the delivery better. There's this a lot of YouTubers have like quite a stilted delivery, and it's like it's clear that they're like reading it. Whereas I find if I memorize it, then I can pay greater attention to presentation. I mean, it's not like I memorize. I can't do the whole thing by heart, but like I learn it in chunks, and so I can like do it without looking down or anything. I don't use a teleprompter. I don't use cue cards. I just have it in my brain and do all that stuff with like keywords that presenters do and so on. It just helps it flow better. Thank you, Eric Wright, for that super chat. And Veritaseras, thank you as well. It says, I was wondering if you get nervous when you upload a new video. I don't know about nervous. I mean, usually by the time I upload a video, I'm kind of done with it. Like I will have seen it like 100 times by the time I upload it. I will have like been editing it for days and days and days, and at that point, usually I will only be able to see the problems with it as well. So I don't know about nervous. It's always interesting. Like sometimes people receive it in very different ways. So this one, like people notice different things about it that I wouldn't have noticed. So there are things that I'm like proud of that only 1 or 2 people really notice. So in this one, I was quite proud of some of the editing, actually, some of the kind of the visual effects of it. So let me see if I can find a good. So yeah, I was quite happy with the way that shots like this came together with Margaret Gallo in the not Margaret Gallo. Who's this? What's this lady's name again? She was the health secretary under Reagan. Anyway, I was really quite proud of how the crystal ball stuff came together. And it wasn't absolutely flawless, but it was like as good as I can make it with my skills and my editing software. I was really proud of shots like this, for instance. Where like, and also my internet will probably struggle with this, but why don't we? I'll try playing a section of the video. So the way that like Adam's face tracks within the crystal ball, and you see the shadow come across his eyes. I'm quite pleased with that. That's that's really weird, Squirrel. Sorry, I made myself laugh by suddenly seeing the. So I was quite pleased with the way that all came together. Things like the writing inside the crystal ball being curved onto the surface of it. So I'm quite pleased with that. That's quite nice. And not many people really notice that sort of thing, really. And it's always nice when they do. So I did get a nice comment from. Let me show you now with comments. Boom! Haha! Master of scene changes. So Wakot L said they were impressed with the crystal ball shots, and I was like, yeah, thank you for noticing that. There was also a couple of people who like the format of this video with the kind of theatrical stuff and then editing into the interviews. I thought were I've not seen anyone else really do that. Other than that time I did it for the sex work video, and I was quite pleased with the way it works. Like it does help keep people's attention. It does help with the pacing. I think it's an interesting tactic, and it's something I want to experiment with more. I think I've got some plans for videos to do next year, where I'll be I want to like interview people more, because I think it's quite fun. But yeah, I was pretty pleased with them. I'm just going to take another drink here. Beautiful. So yeah, as I say, some people had really strong opinions about poor old Adam. But no, my opinions of Adam are positive, and I was very grateful that he came on and he did a fantastic job. The full interview with Adam, if you remind me at the end of the stream, I will. It's actually uploaded on this channel already. If you remind me at the end of the stream, I will publish it. What's the thing where you make a video? You make it so people can see it. I'll publish it at the end of the stream. The sound is a bit dodgy, unfortunately. So the edit for this video was really tough. I'll tell you in a second. But in the meantime, thank you, Michael Hodges, for that super chat. Do you have any recommendations of books on meaning or community that aren't steeped in Protestant dogma? Oof, no, I don't know, but maybe the chat can help you out. Not really my area all that much, but yeah, chat if you know anything about that, then do. There is one that I know, but I cannot remember either the name of the author or the book at the moment. So I'm sorry, I can't tell you at the moment, but yeah, so the edit for this video was very, very tough because I'll be able to show you here. Gangu, thank you for that super chat. No, I don't. Not in the immediate future. So the audio, for some reason, in all of these sections, all of Adam's audio was like had like strange pops and crackles and stuff, and it wasn't right. And I eventually discovered that it wasn't a problem with what Adam had recorded on his end. It was my editing software was really struggling for some reason only with his end of the interview. So I had to, and by the time I kind of figured out what was going wrong, I had already edited it all together. So the structure was kind of there. So it was either like stark. So I basically had to edit a whole thing twice. Which was tough. I had to like take out all the audio, put it all through another program, like redo it, like re-download some drivers and stuff. It was like a real palaver to get the audio up to sort of professional quality. And so I had to like redo all the audio in all of Adam's sections, and then obviously like edit them together to take out the ums and ahs, and like and edit some sections of the interview for comedic timing and so on. So the full interview will be available probably tonight. And it will. Just the audio on Adam's end is a little dodgy. So you're just gonna have to deal with that. Like, if you do want to sit down and watch the full interview is like 55 minutes. So if you do want to stick it on and listen to that, then no worries. I just thought like for a video that I'm like over 250,000 people are gonna see, I was like, I need to clean up this audio. Whereas like I'm guessing only a few thousand people are gonna watch the full interview, and probably not all of them will watch more than like 15 minutes of it. So I was like, well, I don't mind. I don't mind the full interview being slightly lower audio quality. That's kind of fine. Whereas the best quality stuff I reserved for the main show. Nehan Udawate, sorry if I butchered that. It says, "Who is my philosophy teacher at RGS?" Sadly, he's no longer alive, so the information would not do any good. He's I'm not sure where he's buried now actually, but he had his funeral in Newcastle Cathedral. Taking a quick drink on mic, sorry. So yeah, the full interview will be made available soon, but it was a tough edit. It was a very, very tough. It was like a grueling long, lengthy edit, then putting stuff like the special effects in like takes a lot of time. And then actually, you know what? The hardest and most grueling bit of the edit is always doing the text animation like this. I do that all in After Effects, and that usually takes a day. Like After Effects is not a After Effects is not a friendly program to use. Like it's hard to master After Effects, and it kind of takes a long time to do anything. So these sections where I put the text in the crystal ball was hard, and Tristan from Step Back History very kindly did the voice, which was nice. So yeah, it was a tough edit, but I think it came out well. And I think I like to put the patrons' money and to put the work on the screen, so you can see it. And that's I think I've certainly managed that in this video. It was really nice. Any news on Dracula, says Gangu? Not that I can publicly reveal yet, but we shall see. Soon. We're working on it. We have a plan, and we are working on it. Don't worry. Drac will be back. So, what other notes to self did I have? Oh yeah, I did just I said it was a tough edit. I did just fully miss Adam dropping an F-bomb right at the end, 42 minutes in or something. He just drops a full F-bomb, and I missed it. I sent it. He drops an F-bomb 3 times in the interview, and I caught 2 of them and just missed one of them. And it was just a pure error on my part. And I think some people actually did. Some people were like, "How come you didn't censor one of them?" I purely just missed it. Did not even notice until the video was published. I was like, "Oh crap! It's just too late now." I like to try and censor them, partly because it's funnier, and partly because it avoids being demonetized. I am astonished that this video has not been demonetized given the subject matter. The ads are still running on it, and I was like, "Wow, okay." The algorithm has blessed me somehow. Anyway, V thinking, thank you for that super chat. Have you experimented with other software, and what made you stick with After Effects? No, I haven't. And I just did it because that's basically because my brother uses it and he told me what to do, because my brother works in TV. So, Elliot Barker, did he script the interview with Adam? No, not script. I mean, I knew what questions I was going to ask, roughly, and there were some that kind of came up organically, and that I sort of flirted, and so that when he said telling stories in a certain way is better, and I said better how, that wasn't planned. So I think an interview you need to have a rough structure, but also be open to going in new directions. So it wasn't scripted, and I did send him the questions beforehand so that he would have a chance to come up with good answers and stuff. Have you seen Umbrella Academy, says Devon Golder? No, I have not. I'm afraid I do not know what that is. So yeah, I did just fully miss one of the F-bombs. So I apologize if there were children who shouldn't have heard that. Otherwise, the video was pretty child friendly and parent friendly, which was nice. It's always nice to do that. So a random comment says, what inspired you to cover this topic? Mainly that clip from Michael Gove, actually. If you don't know who Michael Gove is, then allow me to show you. You will have seen him. Michael Gove is the guy who said, I think people in this country have had enough of experts. He's this guy. He said that, I think, years ago now, and it became quite an infamous quote in British discourse. So, the discourse. It became an infamous quote. And I just find that quote absolutely fascinating, that I think people in this country have had enough of experts from acronyms saying that they know what is best and getting it consistently wrong. I was like, wow, that's... he's so right, and at the same time just terrifying. He's stumbled ass backwards into something incredibly true, I think, and very philosophically dense and interesting. So I pretty much ever since he said that, I've wanted to do an episode on experts. I was originally planning to interview 2 people. Oh, this was not planning. This is my rough idea. To interview 2 people. One of which was Adam Conover, and the other one was a wine critic called Ollie Smith, who does TV. to TV wine critic who's an expert in that and who also happens to be my cousin. And the reason I wanted to interview them both is because they look quite similar, Ollie Smith and Adam Conover, but they are experts and have like very different stories of how they became experts in very different fields. And Ollie is much more of like a traditional. Hey, John the Duncan. Ollie is much more of a traditional, like mainstream British media expert, and Adam's a bit more of like a gadfly. So, but then eventually I realised that one interview was kind of sufficient, and that it would be a bit too much to be a bit Phantom Menace to be cutting between three different like sections at the same time, and it would just make the video like bloated, really. So yeah, that was where the inspiration for this video came from. Was just that Michael Gove quote. And I was like, that's brilliant. It's just so interesting, man. That's a video right there. And the more I read about experts, the more so this was kind of one that this was a video that came together kind of like from offcuts of other videos. So I tend to read more books than I need to for a video, and there'll be some that don't like line up with what the video is going to be about. So that there's like some that I just end up cutting, and so they just end up in like offcuts, and then eventually sometimes they naturally come together. So this one was kind of made of offcuts of other videos, really. So I had read Ruth Pierce's book Understanding Trans Health, which I referenced in a couple of other videos. I'd read that, but also she has like an interesting chapter on expertise and experts, which is really cool. So yeah, that was fun. So yeah, as I say, this one was kind of made of offcuts and this Michael Gove thing, and I was originally toying with the idea of experts, like what is an expert? And I thought, well, an expert is somebody who can like predict the future, right? And I was like, okay, so there's something about predicting the future. And I was like, oh, like a fortune teller, like a soothsayer. And then I was like, oh, I know what the aesthetic needs to be. The aesthetic needs to be like a fortune teller. And then I was like, oh no, more specifically, it needs to be Tiresias, the blind prophet of Greek mythology, who is blind but can see the future. And then I was like, oh, brilliant! Like, there's the look. And then it all sort of came together after that. And I knew that Nina Richards would be able to take that Michael Gove interview and turn it into an incredible music track, which she did. And yeah, it all kind of came together. And Nina's actually Nina's in the chat. Nina made the incredible music which underscores this video and also is in the credits, which has Michael Gove singing, in quotes. Apocalypse Tory synthcore, I think, is the name of the genre she's invented. So she made that music, and Nina quite often has like a creative impact, because I will usually get the previews of the music tracks from Nina before I go to film. And so, depending on the mood that the music that Nina has set, that will sometimes inform the aesthetic. So this one, like the previews that she sent me were like quite. I don't have the musical language to describe them, but they made me think of something like I wanted Tiresias. They made me want Tiresias to be like not fancy, like the Tiresias like is wearing a potato sack and like a rug, and like the blindfold isn't straight, it's like ripped, and the hair's all mussed up. So Nina gave me this music that was like extremely sort of raw and moogly, and the kind of apocalypse rave bit, and I was like, oh yeah, I really want to. I was like, I don't want this to be like a super fancy elaborate costume. I want it to be like not necessarily stripped back and simple, but a bit more like rough. So yeah, I thought that was good. It really worked and was nice. There were some other comments from people. Oh yeah, so sorry, we were just speaking about Ruth Pierce, and somebody left a who was it who left a comment that reminded me of Ruth Pierce. Soro Baitel. Well, there we go. So Sora Baitel said that the bit about lay experts reminded them of trans people having to be medical experts, kind of having to educate their own doctors. Which, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong to notice that parallel. I mean, that's what Ruth Pierce's book is about, actually. Understanding Trans Health is about the AIDS epidemic, and how the same things are happening now with trans people. So you're absolutely right to notice that parallel. I was considering making that an explicit parallel in the video, but then I thought, well, the people who will get it will be the ones who will get it, and those who don't, perhaps it's not central to the message. But Elliot Barker asks, on a note about experts, were you considering including a section of the video about Andrew Wakefield and the anti-vax movement? Not really, I wasn't, because I think anti-vaxxers would be its own video. Well, anti-vaxxers would be a specific instance of this video. I was like, I could do, so I could, for instance, have done this video, but instead of talking about the AIDS crisis and Corona, I could have talked about anti-vaxxers. I could have said, so AIDS and Corona were kind of the specifics, and then the philosophy of experts was the kind of general thing that you get away into. So I could have started from a more specific point, but I was like, well, I don't know if I really want to do that. I want to make a video that will still be relevant in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever it is. So I didn't want to do an anti-vax thing specifically. And also Harry is making that video already, and there's no reason that we can't have both, but I didn't want to tread on his toes. I wanted to do something that was a bit more of a general step. I didn't want to get into the weeds of Andrew Wakefield said this and here's the study and so on. I was like, no, I want to focus on the philosophy because that's what I do best. And explaining concepts in abstract concepts in a way that is relatable, I thought is my strength. So that's what I want to do. And I know that Harry is, I think, 10,000 words into his next video. He's into anti-vax as a measured response or whatever he's going to call it. So yeah. That's not me giving it away. He's already said that on Twitter, by the way. I'm just going to take a drink here. So yeah, I could have done it about anti-vaxxers, but I just decided not to. I just decided to go a different way with it, really. It was more creatively interested. I was really interested in the parallels between the AIDS pandemic and Corona. So I wanted to be able to tell the story of the AIDS pandemic in a way that was obviously about Corona and was obviously about a whole bunch of other things. You could kind of read Brexit into it as well because of the Michael Gove stuff. So yeah, it was fun. I wanted to do something that was a bit more kind of generalist and that people can kind of apply to whatever. Because if I do the anti-vax stuff, then I know it's just going to become about that particular issue, and I didn't want to get into the weeds of that. Whereas that's kind of more what Harry does. So, there was a great comment from Phil Lazinski who said that I didn't talk about paternalism, which would have been an interesting philosophical area to touch on. Bye, Casey. Thanks for coming along. Yeah, I didn't talk about paternalism. There's a lot of philosophy that's written about paternalism and when the government can jump in or not, especially when it comes to preventing harm. There's John Stuart Mill wrote a whole bunch of famous stuff about that. And I thought, yeah, I could have done that. It would have been good. It probably would have added an extra 15 minutes to the video that might not have really integrated with the rest of it. If you know that sort of philosophy, you can definitely see how it can fit in. But I didn't want to make that the main focus because that's kind of pretty familiar to people who know philosophy. Where I was and also there are other topics that I could talk about paternalism with. If I do a video on vaccinations, or I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, I could do a video about guns. I could do a video about Corona. And there's plenty of other topics where paternalism could fit in. Whereas I kind of wanted to focus down on the experts on this one. But yeah, that's definitely relevant. If you have studied philosophy and you've studied Mill on paternalism, then you're perfectly welcome to read that in. I did get a really nice excuse me. Ooh. I did get a really nice comment from Lily Hudson, who said that they have just started out as a teaching assistant, and it can be difficult for expert teaching advice to be implemented in practice, and they said it might be nice if the experts writing the teaching advice could actually come into a school and sort of see how it's done. And yeah, that's very much what the AIDS researchers found. Actually, when you engage people who are actually on the ground in the trenches, as it were, then it's you can do things a lot better. It makes people more able to engage with what experts are saying and to trust experts as well if they believe that they're being listened to. That was the kind of conclusion I reached, was that they had more success when they engaged people instead of preaching down at them. So there we go. You can take another drink here. Sorry, people in the chat. Paternalism is when the government kind of tells you what to do, basically, in a way that's like we know best, and not necessarily like anti-democratic has like stronger moral connotations, but so most philosophers, most political and moral philosophers will say that there's like some degree of paternalism is required or acceptable, like, you know, the government putting up warning signs like next to an unsteady bridge, or like requiring you to wear a seatbelt or whatever. That is kind of paternalism, but like there's a lot of argument over where exactly the line is. So the government requiring you to wear a seatbelt is, for most sensible people, seen as like, okay, this is an acceptable level of paternalism. But like the government, I don't know, requiring you to sand all the corners off your tables in case you bump yourself on a table, that's obviously like too far, right? So yeah. Brandon Rilling, thank you for that super chat, says, I've been taking your advice on starting week 1 classes a week before they're assigned. Nice. It will help you in the long term. You invest just a couple of hours in Freshers Week and you will be streets ahead. It's a very, very good tactic. I also got a nice comment from Anders Onisowo, who said that there had been let me just find the right window to bring it up here. Boop, there it is. Who said that there had been an effort to make experts political, and that has contributed to people's distrust of them. And I think, yeah, maybe. I'm not going to say no. I'm going to say yes. And I think expertise is inherently political. I think the problem is rather that hegemony has caused people to be suspicious of anything that is deemed political, like outwardly, obviously political, whilst the status quo, which is unsustainable and is political, is by many people wrongly viewed as apolitical. So I don't think it's that experts have been made political, it's that experts are always political, but like we just have a distrust of politics that we probably shouldn't have. Politics in the sense of who wields power, at least. But yeah, as I say, like I don't think it's wrong. I'm just yes-anding it. Anna Karina says, I've just seen a video of a Russian doctor who denies the existence of AIDS. Yeah, some people still do. Some people still do deny that AIDS exists, or that it is, or that HIV is the cause of it. It's yes, it's not nice. Thank you, Dan Sullivan, for that super chat as well. Yeah, some people still don't think that. Yeah. It's taking another little drink there. So yeah, I think in general, I'm pretty pleased with this video. It did come together well. It was very nice. Like, it felt good to be. So that my video before this one, Logic, was kind of made in a bit of a hurry and was a bit kind of not cheap and cheerful, but a bit more bare bones. And I wanted to do something that was a bit more ambitious and a bit more challenging. In particular, I wanted to challenge myself. I was like, there was something really interesting about the format I did when I did my video on sex work, where I interviewed Riley Reyes. There was something very interesting about that format. I was like, I want to revisit that and do it again, because it's a challenge for writing. It really is. It's really a challenge to write a video. And it also means that a lot of what I write ends up on the cutting room floor. So I wrote, so the script for these bits was originally a lot longer, but then when we spoke, Adam and I, we ended up covering a lot of the same ground, and I wanted to give the guest a chance to speak. So I ended up like cutting quite a few paragraphs, and the same thing happened with my sex work video as well. So yeah, it's a challenge to write, because you end up writing stuff and then it gets cut, and you have to be like, ooh, like, did we really cover this? Like, is it implied? Like, what's the best way to do pacing? Thank you, Devin Golder, for that super chat. It's a challenge to write and pace a video that has interview segments, because you don't always know what your guest is going to say. But yeah, it paid off. It really paid off, and I was quite pleased with it. And I think it does. Having two. This is something that I do a lot. It's a tip I picked up from Lindsay Ellis. Having two locations or two aesthetics or two looks or two different rhythms that you cut between, even if like there's not really any need to do that. Like, I could have done the whole episode like this, what you see here. I could have just done this, just the fortune teller stuff. And there's no real. I don't have to cut between places. You'll notice that I do that quite a lot, and that Lindsay does it too. And that on paper you could just have one constant thing. but it just holds the attention more. And I think is just more interesting visually. And it's not. I'm not making podcasts, am I? Where it's just one constant stream. I'm making videos, and I like to be able to hold people's attention, and to be able to split the video up in interesting ways, and to kind of challenge myself in that way. So it was a challenge, and it did come together very well, and I was pleased with it. It was nice. I'm going to take another drink. And also, Adam had a valuable perspective that he brought to it, and I was really, really glad that he came on. Actually, as I say, it was very, very kind of him. So before we move on to looking at the gorgeous fan art that we got from the video, I've got some patron questions to answer. If you are a long-time viewer of the show, then you will know that if you are a patron to a certain level on my Patreon page, then you get to ask me a question that I will answer on stream. So I have 3 for you now. But first, thank you very much to Henning Osterton Holmlong for that lovely super chat. I don't know whether 1,000 NOK is enough to buy an ice cream or a car, so I don't know how grateful to be, but thank you very, very much. That's very, very kind of you. I don't know whether that's investment or whether that's, buy yourself a pint, but thank you very much. Either way, that's very, very kind. So Victor is a patron who asked me, what are my thoughts on determinism? If you don't know, chat, determinism is the idea that people don't have any free will, and that you're just everything you do is just determined. So sorry, there's a bin lorry outside. I don't know if you can hear that. So I've actually been thinking about doing a video on determinism and free will, and also existentialism. So you may oh wow, that's $100. Wow, investment. Thank you so much. 3 pints in Norway. Wow, thank you very, very much. That's astoundingly generous. Wow, thank you. Cheers. What was I? What was I saying? What was I saying again? What was I just talking about? Oh yeah, determinism. I'm thinking about doing a video on determinism and free will and compatibilism and existentialism and all that good stuff. I wanted to call it, the title I have in mind is like existential dread. I've got a killer idea for a costume as well, so that'll be quite fun. So if I do end up doing that video, then you'll be able to hear a little bit about determinism. But I mean, I tend to just like practically live my life as a compatibilist, really, because otherwise you lose your mind, right? Ridley asked me, are there any TV shows or movies that you find particularly interesting from a philosophical perspective? Ooh, I mean, classics like The Matrix. There's plenty of like philosophical themes in that. Nothing that isn't just like normie shit. I don't really watch a lot of movies, to be perfectly honest. I do tend to find movies fascinating, not really for philosophical reasons. So I find there's a movie called The Edge with Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins that I find fascinating, and I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's terrible, but I love it. This is a really funny video, and it was written by a playwright who's a very interesting guy. So, and it's got Anthony Hopkins in. So, Brandon Rilling mentions The Good Place. I've seen a couple of episodes of The Good Place, and I just couldn't get into it really. It seemed interesting, but not really my cup of tea, because it just I don't know, it was just like very American. I've talked about this before on stream. It's very, very, very American, where it does that thing with American TV shows where a character will say the joke, and then instead of moving on, another character will go, "Did you just say joke?" And then there's like an awkward pause, and it's like, I get it. Like, this episode is twice as long as it needs to be because you double dip on every joke. Just go. Just like edit it like half the length, and all the acting is very like American sitcom where it's like I don't buy any of this. But hey, that's my own snobbery, really. I was raised on like esoteric, weird British comedy, so that's fine. This is not my taste, really. Devon Goldass said, if you have any interest in solipsism as a possible video topic, I mean, if you've been on the stream before, you'll know that anytime somebody says, are you going to do a video about this? The answer is always maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to say yes. I don't have any immediate plans to do one about solipsism, so I guess, you know, a cleverer YouTuber would have done something about solipsism and lockdown and quarantine, but it's a bit too far. A bit too late, rather. So yeah, Erin asked me, I've been reading a bit about moral responsibility recently, more specifically skepticism about moral responsibility. How does that relate to the ultra-rich? If they grow up being constantly told that they need to hoard money and build wealth and basically nothing else, is a billionaire acting immoral by doing that? Yes. Yes, they are. I don't think that there's any educational upbringing that can make you entirely insensitive to the suffering of your fellow human beings or the ability to self-reflect. And I say that like knowing that I, of course, could do more for the common good. But yes, I do. And in either case, I think it's like, I mean, even if we say, okay, it's not morally, even if we say, all right, like Elon Musk is not morally culpable for, or Jeff Bezos is not morally culpable for amassing all that wealth, it's still necessary to confiscate it. So, I mean, let's figure out the moral stuff later, and let's, you know, feed and house people now. This is my 2 cents on it. Anyway, thank you for that super chat, Harshita. New subscriber who loves your content. Thank you so much. That's very kind. So I tell you what, why don't we look at some gorgeous fan art, because there was some beautiful fan art for this one. Beautiful. So let's have a cheeky wee look here. Smoothie Booty, obviously, always bringing in some fantastic fan art. Is Smoothie Booty. Yeah, I do like this one. I like the little curls of the hair. I like the potato sack colouring. It's really nice. Got the nice ring in there as well. Yeah, it's really, really good. For some reason there was a lot of fan art on this one. A lot. People really liked drawing this look for some reason. I don't know. But not everyone was drawing this one. So this was posted on the subreddit. Can you see that? Yes, you can see the name of the artist there. It's like Plica Vocalis. Yeah. I really like this one. This one's obviously of the arsonist as a match head, which I just thought was like a really clever. Oh, it was really clever. I mean, I thought this would be like in this almost seemed like a political cartoon. Like this would be in, I don't know, the New Yorker or something, and the caption would be like, the 1%. Like, I don't know, gender reveal parties or something like, you know, something that it just seemed like a political cartoon to me, which I quite liked. It was fun. And then there was this one from Charlotte Ravenclaw, which I really like. Hand drawn. Multiple crystal balls as well. I could not hold the crystal balls like that in real life because they are heavy. The crystal ball, I had to lug it all the way across town to my studio. It was very, very heavy. I was back in my studio for this one, by the way. So the last few I've been filming at home, and this one I filmed the Adam interview at home. But I went into my studio, and if you're on my Patreon, then you'll have seen the behind the scenes photos. So yeah, it was quite a challenge to film this one like socially distanced and you know, wearing masks whenever we weren't filming, but it came together quite well. It was quite nice, and it just allows me to get some nicer shots. So, for instance, let me show you. So these big pork, big pork. So this, for instance, like, so I've got both hands around the crystal ball. So somebody else has to hold the camera. So that was my friend Mr. X who held the camera there. So it was really nice to be back in the studio, just like see my friends again, even if we can't like hug and stuff. But it was really good to be back with the old crew. And it just captures as like a slightly crisper audio quality and a slightly better video quality as well. Just that little bit nicer. And the lighting is just slightly better because they've got the kit to play with, and the camera's just a tiny bit nicer. So that was it was really nice to be back at this Peppa Pig in the crystal ball. It was really nice to be back in the back in the old studio. It was really good. Let's check out some more fan art here. This one from Sophie Marshmallows. I really like this one. Really like the lighting that you've put on the hair there, Sophie. That's really, really good. Nice shiny hair. It was good. When is Big Pork merch coming? Never. There is new merch in the merch store, but there is new merch, but and actually it went to so the merch store opened up a new line of merch just a couple of weeks before this came out, I think, and the money from that is going to pay for the subtitles. So if you didn't know, this video was subtitled in Brazilian, Portuguese, and German. So you can check that out if you like. Yeah, and that was paid for by the merch store. Thank you again, Henning Osterden Homlong, for that super chat. I'm not sure what a pint costs in England, but this ought to do it, I think. Neither do I, because I'm not going to the pub. We've still got a pandemic on. And also, I don't think I've had a drink since my birthday. So, yeah, there you go. I really like this one from Felis Nerviosa. That was really, really cool. Really like the gold lettering there is really good. Got the candles too. That's really, really nice. So hang on, I'm just going to take a quick drink. Give me a second here. Contemplate this beauty while I take a drink. There we go. Oops. Yeah, so this one was really, really nice. I also really like this one from Sounds Festive. Sounds Festive. Just love the facial expression on that. It's really nice. And the I'm not sure if it's brush strokes or pen strokes or what, but it was really good. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Lady Victoria the 7th, formerly Mechatech on Twitter, as usual, contributing an absolute banger. Yeah, I love this one. I didn't have any tentacles in the video, but like it fits. It works fine. And some kind of leg coming out there. I don't know what that's about, but it was really, really cool. Antonella Restini Del Ponte says, "Do you have a specific person that does your translations?" No, I use a service to have specific people doing it, and they do offer, but to have specific translators and to have to do a back and forth of emails would just be, in terms of like admin, just administratively impossible. It would take too long. So I do it all through a website. And it's the only way to do it. And like to have time really. Ender Durant did this one. Really, really like this one. Love the background on that. It's really nice. It's like a haunted vibe to it. Yeah, it's really, really cool. And this one from Dapper Doodles, which was quite fun too. Crossed thumbs are there. That's really cool. I look like Bolin from Legend of Korra there. Thank you, Truck Stuff, for that super chat. I do really like this one from Skyen, TV Skyen. That's very. I love the eyeballs in the triangles. That's really. It looks like a tarot card. It's very mystic looking. It's really, really good. Are you going to get the captions at the end of the video translated? No, I'm afraid not. That would require another level of back and forth because the captions at the end of the videos in the credits, the kind of secret captions, that's the last thing I do right before it publishes, and it would add like days and days of time. Elliot Barker, yes, I did hear that. Yes, that's why I'm now trying to budget to have certain languages paid for. I'm trying to do that out of my. I'm trying to now budget to have at least German and Brazilian, Portuguese, and possibly my next one in simplified Chinese, if I can afford it. This one from As You Wish is really, really fun. It's really cool. I love the coloured pencil on that, and the kind of the circle background was really cool. Miracle Herbal Supplement. It's really, really fun. This one from Ballet B. I don't know what the word is. Sewn, embroidered. That's really cool though. Cross stitched. I don't know what you call that. But it's pretty freaking cool. Very, very cool indeed. And this one from somebody who's just called Ollie on the subreddit. Really like this one as well. I love the sparkly triangle pattern on the tablecloth. That's really, really cool. And yet more from Gagalico. That's really cool. I love the kind of 3D eyes there. I love the way the eyes are looking in different ways, as if they're commenting on whatever the hell's going on. The green and the red is a really nice clash as well. It's really good. That's really, really cool. And finally, this one from Luca Paints, the watercolor. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Very, very fun. People are so talented, just really, really talented. Yeah, the fan art's always amazing. It always gets posted in the Philosophy Tube subreddit, which is always like an artistic place to hang out. I usually, a couple of hours before we stream, I go through the subreddit and yeah, and pull off the artwork. It's just really, really fun. Well done, everyone. So yeah, that was all the notes to self. That was all the fan art. That was all the comments. Probably since we're doing audio only, I might make it a bit of a quicker stream, and also because I'm quite tired. Salen Elder, no, it's not a reference to anything. It's literally just a reference to Big Pork, the lobby. So yeah, I'll probably do another 15 minutes, I think, and then I will go and relax because I've got a lot of research to do for this next video. Oh boy. Next one's going to be, I'm not going to give too much away about what the next video is going to talk about, but it involves reading a lot of ancient Chinese philosophy, which also involves reading a lot of like guides to ancient Chinese philosophy. So I've just got a lot of reading to do for this next one, and yeah, it's gonna take a while. I'm gonna probably have to work all weekend and just like I've read so many books and need to read so many more. And I think the writing stage is going to be quite challenging as well. But and I've also just got like a lot of admin and stuff on. Like I've got to like go to the dentist and get a checkup, and the internet people are coming on Friday, so I'm supposed to be going out to a thing on Saturday night. So yeah, I got a lot on. It's going to be a lot of work. I imagine this video is probably going to be late, but we'll see. Sometimes they come together quite quickly. And also I need to listen to a lot of Chinese hip-hop, which I want to be the soundtrack. Yeah, that's going to be fun. But when I've done all my reading, I will post the bibliography on twitter.gov, where you can read the bibliography and see where I'm going with it. Yes, I am reading them in translation, yes. And some of the things that I want to read, sadly, have not been translated into English, but that's a shame. Paul O'Malley, thank you for that super chat. That's very, very kind of you. Yes. Katie Friedman asks, how much time do you usually spend reading in preparation for a video? Usually a few weeks. You know, it varies a lot. You know, sometimes, as with this last one, it comes together out of offcuts. But this time, like, I'm starting totally new. Like, I've never studied any Chinese philosophy before, so I've got to start straight from the beginning. Excuse me. So yeah, that's quite a challenge to read all of that, really. How do you not fall down research rabbit holes that suck you deeper into them? I do. I mean, quite often. So you will notice, if you're eagle-eyed, you'll notice that the bibliographies I post on Twitter are never the bibliographies under the videos. The bibliographies under the videos are always shorter. That's usually because about a quarter to a third of the stuff I read ends up not being relevant. So sometimes like I'll do like days and days of work and it won't end up in the video, but like that's the way it works, that's the way it goes. That is the downside of being the only YouTuber whomst reads books. So yeah, there you go. I read books and they take time to read. I do my research. Even though I'm a ridiculously quick reader, I do have a lot to chew through, and Chinese philosophy can be quite dense as well, and it also requires a lot of like reading around the philosophy to be like understanding the history of it. Like, okay, this is where this philosopher like fits in, and like this is what this term means, even though it's been translated. I might be like, what does that mean exactly? So yeah. There you go. The only YouTuber whom reads books. That should be quite fun. Don't try and, people in the chat, don't try and guess, don't try and preempt what I'm doing with the next video. Don't do it. You'll always be disappointed, or you'll always get it wrong. See, this is why I've broken my rule. And that is to say what the next video is about. I knew I shouldn't have said, because as soon as I do, every time this happens, every time I say I'm doing a video about this, I get people who think they know what I'm going to do, and they start telling me how to do it. I'm like, nope, don't. Like, people say, oh, I hope you won't do this, or like, you better do this, or I'll be disappointed if you don't do this. I'm like, no, step off. Like, you don't know what I'm doing. Keep back. See, I broke my own rule. This is why I shouldn't ever tell people what I'm working on until it comes out. Serves me right for breaking the rules. I will not do that again. I will remember next time not to tell you what I'm doing videos on. But yes, the next video is going to be fun. I'm enjoying the challenge of learning about a new thing. Yes. The zone of no expectations. Do not expect anything and you will not be disappointed. No, it is not the philosophy of Chinese ska bands. Almost out of spite, I might do it about something totally different now. I might just totally ditch what I'm going to do and do something else. It's completely different. I was planning on doing a video about determinism this month, and then I was like, nah, go on, let's do something else. And I gather that someone else has just done a video about determinism as well, so I may have to liaise with her about what she said. We'll see. Yes. So I think we'll probably go for another 7 minutes or so. I'm probably gonna have a bit of a rest, to be honest. Pretty sleepy. Been working hard. Been working real hard. To get this research done, and just like admin stuff as well. It's challenging. I have never read Nickel Boys or White Fragility, Elliot Barker, so I'm afraid I can't guide you there, but good on you for trying. Sorry. What was the thing or moment I was most proud of in my last video? Ask the chat. Ooh, I think it's gonna be those shots where the video is warped onto the crystal ball. It's gonna be things like this, because that was a challenge. That was tough to do. That was real tough to do, but it worked, and it worked pretty well. It's not perfect, but it did all right, and I was quite happy with it. It was good. Really quite pleased with that. So yeah, I think I was quite. I was pleased with that. That was nice. That's what I'm most proud of, I think. Let me take us into our final few songs. What do we like? We like In a Harp, don't we? By Zoe Blade, and then we like Walking in the Rain to be the last songs. Thank you very much for that super chat, Carly Fife. Have you seen the Amazon adaptation of Good Omens? No. The answer to have you seen a TV show is usually no. I spend upwards of 5 hours a day reading philosophy, so I have probably not seen whatever anybody's talking about. I don't have a TV that plays TV programs. If I'm watching anything, it tends to be something that has 20-minute episodes, so I can watch an episode while I eat my lunch. Like, I'm working my way through Legend of Korra at the moment, which is a bit of a slog, because it's getting a bit it's getting a bit crap, to be honest. I'm not really enjoying it all that much. I'm almost at the end though, so I'm like, oh, go on. Thank you for that super chat, Lily Manshell and Matilda the cat. Yeah, I'm working my way through Korra because it's 20-minute episodes, and I can do sort of 3 hours reading in the morning, 20 minutes of Korra, and then 4 or 5 hours in the afternoon, and that's a day. That's a day's work, isn't it? So yeah, I don't really have a lot of time to do anything else. Yeah, so I have not seen Good Omens or indeed anything else really. Yeah, I'm not really enjoying Korra all that much, but Riley J. Dennis got me back into it. Riley made some good videos about it, and I'm friends with Riley and her wife, so they got me back onto it, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do this. It's like I was like, well, I go on if Riley says it's good, I'll give it a go, but I've not really want to do that. Saiji Collins says, get a cat for your new flat. I'd really love to. And this place is certainly more, well, actually, in some ways it's more cat friendly than the last one. In other ways, it's really cat unfriendly. But I think, oh, hi Zoe, nice to have you here. I need to persuade the landlord to let me install good internet. I don't think they're going to go for a cat as well. Skippy K asks, how do you like your new flat? I very much enjoy it. It's very nice. It's secure, which is the main thing. It is very it's very secure, which is nice. Yeah, which is what I needed, especially after the last place. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, comfy here. It's pretty good. So I'm gonna put on the last song, which is Walking in the Rain. John Duncan says, Korra definitely suffered from a lack of direction. That's not the only thing Korra suffered from, if I'm being perfectly honest. I mean, it's pretty jarring that like all the main characters in Legend of Korra are cops or war criminals. And then in season 4, they're like, how can we do this? How can we do more of this? We're like, the children are now also cops. Like the airbenders, everyone's a cop now. Everyone is a cop. And I was like, okay, I'm not mad about that. Not quite sure it's really in accordance with what we've been told about airbenders and airbending, that Tenzin is just like, now everyone's a cop. I'm J.K. Simmons and all of my children are cops now. And it's like, okay. We shall see about that. People are saying, I'm sad you had to consider the security of your flat. Yeah, I mean, you know, when I moved into my old place, I had 100,000 subscribers or thereabouts. Now I've got 700,000. I need to consider security. Like, if only 1% of that number of people are like weird and dangerous, then that's still a lot of people. Thank you for that super chat, George A. Casimus. Better to be safe than sorry, you know. When it comes to your security. Yes. I mean, I do like the aesthetic of Korra. I like the kind of, you know, the 20s radio vibes. Like, oh, yes, we're talking about this thing. And, like, we're in the big city now. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's like a new direction to take it. It's just a shame that everyone's a cop. It seemed to be kind of a big break from Avatar The Last Airbender. I was just like, well, it's fine to, like, change the world and stuff. But, like, it just seemed like morally there was an enormous change that was, like, never really addressed. But, people are recommending me YouTube videos to watch. Again, I do not have time. I hardly have time. I barely watch any YouTube videos these days. I have like a couple of channels that I will tune into, but I don't really have a whole lot of time anymore. So, because again, I'm just reading philosophy all the time. But that's how we do it. That's how content gets made. That's the content sausage. And, you know, like, I'm living a life as well. I have a life and, like, admin stuff to do. So, well, we are at the end of the stream. Thank you very much for joining me. I think this was a bit of a success. I'm quite pleased with the way this one came together. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Take it easy. Have a chill time. Rotate PDF. And I will see you in the next episode of the show. Good night.